It is a lovely good evening to everyone tuned in to Prime Television Zambia. Today, the 15th of February in the year 2024, we are back with a program that is brought to you courtesy of the opposition political party, which goes by the name of Citizens First. And we continue. Last week, we hosted the Deputy Secretary General, and today we have another guest who is also a member of the Citizens First. And tonight we are looking at the economic turnaround under Citizens First. The economic turnaround under Citizens First. And my guest on the program is a Deputy National Youth Mobilization Chairperson or Citizens First Political Party, Deputy National Youth Mobilization Chairperson. I'm your host. My name is Dabola Kelvin Chifoko. We'll be able to open the phone line where you'll be able to participate and, add your voices or ask questions. My guest is Lazarous Simukoko, who is Deputy National Youth Mobilization Chairperson. Mr. Simukoko, good evening and welcome to this program.
Good evening, Mr. Kelvin, and good evening to our viewers as well as our listeners. It's good to be here.
Thank you so much. It's good to be here. And I must say, it's 2024. This is the first time that I'm hosting you.
Yeah, I think the last time you hosted me, we were on the other station, but once again, we are here. It's good to be here.
How is Citizens First?
Yeah, Citizens First is good. We are moving. And when you look at where we started and where we are up to this moment, we have managed to move very well. The party is growing. When you look at how the way we have transitioned from what happened previously to where we are today, I think there is progress in what we are doing. There is a lot of progress.
Why progress in a nation where the political space is shrinking?
Now, when you look at the political space is not shrinking, but the democratic space is shrinking. So when you look at the part we have in power today, is scared of losing the elections in 2026 because they have seen that the political parties we have in Zambia, they are becoming so strong because they have failed to deal with the things they promised the people of Zambia. So when we look at the president of the UPND, he has been quoted in the audio which was released previously that is destabilizing the political parties in the country. So when you look at how we have moved, it's always that in any democratic state or nation, there are always two dominant political parties. There is no way the UPND can say, no, we are the only political party which is strong, because as long as we are in the democratic space or the democratic state, we are going to have two dominant political parties, and Citizens First is there.
So when you talk about two dominant political parties, in this case, like in the case of Zambia, people that are watching and myself seated here, I'm interested to know which are these political parties that are dominant in Zambia.
In terms of dominancy, when you look at where we started from as a nation, you look at the Patriotic Front previously, there was also the UPND, there was the Patriotic Front previously, and also the MMD. Okay, so in every democratic space, no matter how you can try to shrink the space of other opponents, automatically a political party will emerge which is going to challenge your views. That's how it works. So we are there as Citizens First. Now, what is the measurement? How are we measuring that we are there indeed? When you look at the kind of ideologies we are proposing to the country, automatically you are going to see that we are indeed there. Not only can you look at, because when you look at the way they came into office and so on, it was on false pretense. And when you look at the economic policies we have presented to the people of Zambia, you can be able to see that indeed we are in that sector.
When you talk about that they came into power through false pretense, this is a government that was voted for, or a political party that was voted for overwhelmingly by majority Zambians. How does it become false pretense when Zambians responded to the message and voted in numbers?
The response was based on the promises they made. One of them was that the 25 kg bag of mini meal was going to be sold at 50 kwacha. And when you look at fuel, they said fuel is going to be sold less than it was costing. And when you look at the dollar, the president said, I'm voted in by 10 hours, by 14 hours, the kwacha will appreciate against the dollar. Of which even a person seated at home felt that indeed this is the political party which we want to vote for. This is the political party we want indeed to make sure that it goes into office so that they implement the things that they are promising. But when you look at the things they promised from that moment up to where we are now, there is nothing of that kind. So in terms of false pretense, we are talking about the promises they made. You promise someone that, okay, today I'm going to bring you a jacket, a suit, things like that. Then the person doesn't bring a suit at that particular moment based on the agreement you made. What does that simply mean? It simply means the person deceived you. Since the person deceived you, what are you going to say? You said, no, this is not the thing that I ordered. So the thing that you ordered and the thing which was delivered to you, they are not the same. That is the situation Zambia is in now. Because what the Zambian people ordered was cheaper fuel. Today we have the expensive fuel. The people of Zambia ordered a government which said a bag of mini meal will begin costing at 50 kwacha per 25 kg. Of which that is not the thing which is happening. When you look at the way they promised that this is the way we are going to turn around the economy and so on, because there is no way fuel can be costing this much and so on, the people of Zambia said, indeed, let's usher in or let's order this government to come over and make sure that they implement the things that they are doing or they are saying. Now, after putting them into power, they are now doing the exact opposite of what they promised, which is now a case of false pretense.
How is the economic of Zambia, or how is the economy of Zambia under the new Dawn government? They have been in power for over 2 years, 5 or 6 months now. How is the economic, status of this nation?
It's in dilemma. The way the economic emancipation has been under the government, you are going to see that the things that they said they are going to do for the people, they haven't done so. Now, when you are looking at the economy, a Zambian out there who is just a common Zambian or an ordinary Zambian who is not a politician and who is not in government, that Zambian isn't interested in GDP. The Zambian isn't interested in inflation rate. The Zambian who is out there isn't interested on any graphical presentation that they are making to them. They're interested on how am I going to make money tomorrow? How am I going to make sure that I eat tomorrow? How much will I buy a bag of mini meal? How much am I going to spend when I want to go to town and come back? Those are the things they're interested in. So when you look at the government hasn't put in enough policies or enough effort in making sure that they uplift the livelihood of the Zambian people. They haven't done so. So when you look at the way the people of Zambia are suffering at this moment, you will see that there is indeed a lot of problems which they are facing. Look at the bag of mini meal. How much is it costing today? 350 going up. Look at how much fuel is costing.
When you talk about a bag of mini meal and you peg it at 350, are you also factoring in the brands like Kalonga and ZNS, Eagles mini meal?
No.
Why are you just depending on over 350 without looking at Eagles mini meal and Kalonga?
No. When you look at the way the operation has been, mini meal is expensive. Be it Eagles mini, which is going at 250, somewhere there.
230, 229.
It's okay, same value. The gap isn't much.
But are you aware that 20 kwacha, somebody is able to buy something? If you pay 250 and then you are given a 20 kwacha, don't you think a 20 kwacha will help?
Transportational costs. Let's not only stick to the price. There are transportational costs.
So even Eagles, according to is over 300?
I'm coming to you. Where is Eagles meat being sold? In ShopRite outlets. How many shopping?
Only?
I'm coming to you. Shopping malls. In short. Now, others, they would say, okay, we are going to come with Eagles meeting at a certain stadium or certain ground. Then people line up to begin purchasing the same the same meal. Now, when you look at the factors we consider when you reviewing the price, if you are supposed to go to a mall and buy that milimi we are talking about, you need to spend transport, because automatically there are few houses.
Not everyone is spending transport.
Not everyone, but let's scatter for the person who are living in places like Garden.
They walk.
They to where we,
people from Kaunda Square can walk to Emo and buy a bag of milimi.
There is also an opportunity.
People from Ngombe can walk.
There is also an opportunity cost attached to it. When dealing with economics, let's not only deal with the price. Let's deal with time as well. There's opportunity.
But you've refused to deal with the GDP.
GDP. No. Look, those measures, the Zambian people are not interested to know them, but
Zambians are interested to know the cost.
Listen.
No, Mr. Simukoko.
Look at this.
You said when you're looking at the economy, you don't look. Zambians are not interested in GDP.
Yes.
Zambians are not interested in inflation rate.
Yes.
But now, why are you saying Zambians are interested in cost?
No. Look, when you look at the economy, you as a government, you decide on how you want it to be run.
As a government, you decide.
You decide, yes. You decide. You can either decide that we want it to be a 24-hour economy, or let's just remain to an 8-hour economy. That's how it runs. Now, if you say, let's be able to put this milimi only in shopping outlets, what does that mean? You as a government, you need to view in the factors now. What are the other costs which are going to come, or what disadvantages are the people going to face when purchasing milimi in shopping outlets? You know that ShopRite outlets in Zambia in total, they are 36. When you look at other things which you need to look at as well, when you look at ZNS, they have only about 6. If you go for 6, only. Now that we are talking about the whole nation now. So when you look at where ShopRite outlets are, what are you going to look at again? You are going to see a person, maybe a distance is too far from where that person is. The time you are spending to move from your place to go to that mall, you could have done something else productive, which will benefit the economy. So that's what I'm saying. When you are looking at other disadvantages, you factor in as well other disadvantages that you are able to experience. Now, when you look at the agriculture sector, let us look at the blunders which they have made. Which other blunders are there? One, they told the farmers that we have found the market for you for soybean. They said so. So the farmers who had hoped to say, I want to venture into producing maize alone, they said, no, I think it will give me a loss to begin producing maize because the government has already found the market for soya. That farmer had to shift. Instead of producing maize, the farmer went and started producing soya. After production or after producing that soya, the government said, we are not going to buy. What did that do? It decreased the amount of maize which was produced. Further, the government sold maize. They sold maize. That maize was meant for survival in cases like drought or climate change, like the one we are having now. So when you look at FRA operates in its own forms. Like today, up to maybe 3 years from now, even if there was climate change, even if there was drought, the people of Zambia can be able to survive because we have enough maize in stock. But that isn't happening. That is the agriculture sector. In the mining sector, you know that the mining sector has been a challenge as well. You go to the mining sector, you see what is happening today. The Minister of Mines is on record saying KCM will only begin making profit 4 years from now. We are talking about 4 years from now is 2028. That's a lie. The copper cathodes for 2023 was bought in 2022. The copper cathode for 2024 has already been bought and was bought in 2023. So the copper cathode for 2025 is going to be bought this year, by end of this year. Why? Because the mining sector doesn't run like the way we sell tomatoes.
Where is this copper cathode coming from?
I'm coming to you. Let me explain where it is coming from. Let me explain. So when you look at the way the mining sector runs, it doesn't operate like a simple market where you go and buy tomato. For you to walk away with that tomato, you need to pay. It doesn't operate like that. So they buy in advance. Now, what happens is there are grades in the purity of copper. There is grade A, which is also referred to as grade 1. It is at 99.9% pure copper. We have grade B, which is at what percentage? 99%. We have grade C, which is at 80%. Then we have grade D, which is at 77%. So the prices for those is supposed to be different. Now, this is how it works. When it's November, December, end of year, they'll invite the bids. When you go there and say, okay, this is the bid you have accepted, meaning you get the money in advance for the cathode or copper cathode you are yet to produce. So when you look at the mining companies, e.g. KCM, when you look at KCM itself, KCM, for them to know that this is the amount, they need to know, this is the amount of tonnage we need to extract from this area. That is, be it the ore which is going to be extracted at the open pit mining or at the deep mining in the case of Konkola. That is what happens. So when they produce that, the processing of it now, they are going to come up with the copper cathode. That is where the copper cathode will be coming from. So by saying that the company will not make profit until it's 4 years from now, what is that telling you? It's simply telling you that there will be no any bids which will be allowed between the end of years for the mining company. Now, bringing in of Vendetta, what it caused is this. Vendetta went to Standard Chartered Bank to borrow $2.15 billion US. And by pumping in enough resources, what is that going to do? When you pump in enough resources, you are going to be making $1 billion US per year. That is per annum. That is what will happen. So in 4 years' time, what Vendetta will do now is to get the mining license for KCM and take it to Standard Chartered Bank and say, this license I have brought here, the collateral which I have presented to you is KCM. They are going to get KCM and put it as a collateral for getting that amount to invest in KCM. And since they are so clever, what they are going to do is, we need to pay back this loan to this bank, Standard Chartered. Meaning, in that 4 years, the government is telling you that we are not going to be collecting taxes from you until it's 4 years. Meaning that 4 years will be spent by Vendetta to begin paying the loan he will get from Standard Chartered. That is what will happen there. Now, in this case, where are we getting it wrong? What plans do we have our citizens facing the mining companies or the mining sector? When you look at the Zambian people,
before we go further,
yes,
and you talking about the plans that you have in the mining sector,
yes,
let us put things straight here. Mm-hmm. We know that Vendetta or KCM and the previous government, the issues were in court. Mm-hmm. When the new dawn came into power, they said we cannot be doing mining in the courts of law. Mm-hmm. Let us settle this matter.
Yes.
And as we speak, KCM was handed back to Vendetta. And we are told, come the 28th, everything will be concluded. Mopani, the same, an equity partner was found, and right now, as we speak, they have started paying, arrears to those whom they are owing, the suppliers. In case of Citizens Face, how would you have handled the issue of KCM and Mopani?
Now, when you look at the current situation, there is no any injunction at any court around the world which is preventing KCM from producing copper. There is no any injunction at any court not allowing KCM to operate. The only case which was there is the wrongful thing which was happening between Vendetta and the government.
The liquidation. So now, my question is, as Citizens
how
Face,
could have you done it?
Yes.
You could have left the court to do its own thing. Mm-hmm. If they were to say we need to pay back or to give Vendetta the money. Because when you go to
and then the liquidation?
I'm coming to you. When the court will order you to say pay back the money to Vendetta, they won't tell you that pay right now. They won't tell you. They won't say you need to pay the money right now. They can even give you 15 years. They will say this money should be paid to this person in 10 years. If you feel like you are not in a comfortable position as a government, you can still go to the same court and say, for last we can manage to pay this amount you have said in 15 years. In 15 years. They don't impose things. They'll just tell you, okay, in the space of 15 years.
Was that the route that Citizens Face could have taken?
Let me explain to you where
my question is very simple, Mr. Simukoko. I feel you are taking much time in explaining and you are not responding to my questions. How would you have handled the issue of KCM and Mopani as Citizens Face?
The way we could have handled it, it's the explanation I'm giving you. We could have left Vendetta to go anywhere because there was no any injunction which was preventing KCM from operating.
You would have also allowed the liquidation to continue.
Listen. There was also no any injunction preventing the operation. Let me explain. These are technical terms. Give me chance I explain, then you can come in now. When you look at that case now, when you leave them to go there, they will say you need to pay this amount. Then you give them to say, okay, I think we can manage in 15 years. You can still pay that money even if they were to tell that you pay $2 billion because KCM alone is able to make to generate revenue of $1 billion per annum. Meaning in 15 years time you can manage. What did we need to do? We needed to make sure that as government we sit down and say we need to pump in resources which will allow the Zambian people to take over the operation of KCM. When you look at the Zambian people who are running mines around the world, there are quite a lot. When you look at Namibia, there is,
tell us those Zambians that are running mines.
In Namibia, the president of the Chambers of Mines is a Zambian. That is Veston Malango.
He's running the mines on behalf of the Namibian government.
That is the president of the Chambers of Mines.
So he's running the mines on behalf of the Namibian government.
Yes. Check even on Google.
Not running the mine as a Zambian.
No. Veston Malango is a Zambian who worked in Zambia. He went to the University of Zambia, later went to Germany. He is the current president of the Chambers of Mines in Namibia. Now, are you telling me that as a government, we can fail to put up even a panel of 14 people to say, you are going to begin running KCM? By doing that, you also pump in resources because you know that per annum you are going to generate $1 billion US dollars.
I feel I need to, in as much as you are using these technical terms,
yes.
I feel I'll go back to my earlier question. How would you have handled the issue of KCM and Mopani as citizens first?
But I've already explained that question.
So you would have. So you are giving us examples of what is happening in Namibia.
No. I'm telling you that if we are to follow the route, we could have let Vendetta to go to any court
and then allow liquidation.
No, listen. When there are negotiations which can happen between you and the person, if the person feels like the person needs to court. Now, the mining sector, the problem we have with it is that we view it like it is run like the way we run any market. It's a different thing. There are technicalities which are there. So, when you look at the liquidation process, the liquidation process couldn't have happened provided the government said, we are going to pump in resources and we are going to make sure that the Zambian people take over the operation of the mining company. Now, when you say we can't be running a mining company while it's in court, what are you trying to say? Because when you say we can't be running this, because you can only complain that we can't run a mining company when it is in court, provided there is injunction preventing you from operating. But there has been no any injunction which has restricted Mopani, which has restricted KCM from operating. There has been no any injunction which has restricted Mopani or KCM to begin selling copper. So if the operations are there, the mining company is operating to its full capacity. The case is in court. Maybe it could be the liquidation process or anything. You need to say, provided that was the case, Vendetta could have gone to any court, be it any court in Europe or anywhere. After that, the court would have ordered Zambian to pay, because you need to pay a price for the wrongs that have been done previously. You do know that the mining sector, there is no any ownership to its full capacity by the Zambian people. That is where the challenges are.
Let's move on. The agriculture sector. You've talked about the price of midi meal. Your price is over 300, but I know that Eagle's meeting is 230. Kalonga is 230. You've brought in the issue that the time that that person is going to buy, they are taking time. They could have done something productive. The agriculture sector, which is also a backbone of the economic, activities of the nation. As citizens first, how would you have, managed the agricultural sector better compared to these people you are saying they have failed?
Now, for us, we could have managed to make sure that there is production of fertilizer within the country, because it is very important. When you look at Malawi produces tobacco. And Malawi is able to process its own tobacco because they know that they have got an advantage in that. When you look at Zambia, in Zambia, our major staple food, or the food we produce to its full capacity, is maize. Yet we import fertilizer. Yet we are unable to add value to the agricultural sector and be able to export those things. Again, when you look at the mining sector itself has got minerals which are in diminishing state, or in short, they finish in overtime. Where you are going to remove copper today, you are not going to find this tomorrow. Meaning, we need to begin preparing for the future generation, the people who are coming on board again. So, when you look at the agriculture sector, the mistake has been we need to diversify. Not only to begin growing maize, we need to begin growing soya, we need to be growing cassava, we need to be growing a lot of things. Then after that, we set up companies, referred to as industries, which will begin employing people. Once people are employed in those industries, they can be able to work properly or efficiently. In order to keep unemployment under the agriculture sector, you say, let's begin operating the agriculture sector like the way the mining sector has been operating, a 24-hour economy. Let there be shifts of saying, okay, 3 shifts in a day. This person goes works, this person goes works, and that person goes works. When you do so, one company, if it is able to only employ 10 people, by having 3 shifts, you will know that it will employ about 30 people, because there are those shifts. The way the mining company has been running, they don't only work there for 8 hours. They just remove the ore from the ground, and then they leave it there and say, we are going to come back tomorrow. Where they are going to end, that's where the other shifts will continue from. So when you do so, it will increase productivity. When you increase productivity, when you have put up those companies which are able to produce things, like you make drinks, you make other end products, those are supposed to be exported. Today, the people of Zambia are celebrating that the dollar, the kwacha has appreciated against the dollar. It's artificial, because the government, the Bank of Zambia, just 2 days ago, released 2.15 million US dollars. They pumped in that money into the economy. Later on, they increased the monetary policy rate from 11% to 12.5%. What is that telling you? You are expecting the kwacha to appreciate, but it's artificial. It's artificial. When you look at the way the kwacha has depreciated, as an example, remember, if you are able to generate that money just from exports, not by just the Bank of Zambia saying, let's pump in this money, just by exports, which you are making.
Exporting what?
We can be able to export the things which are going to be produced in the agriculture sector, by making sure that the drinks which are being exported, the shop rights you have in this country is not for the Zambian, it's for the people of South Africa. The other businesses which you have here are not Zambian made.
You've talked about producing fertilizer.
Yes.
And we know that we've got nitrogen chemicals of Zambia, we've got the United Capital Fertilizer,
yes.
And we've been told that we are able to produce fertilizer, and as we speak, Zambia, or United Capital Fertilizer, has supplied fertilizer outside Zambia.
No. I'm not going to dispute that you have got those, but they have not been given enough resources to produce to its full capacity.
So they are producing now, at the moment? Can we say they're
in lower quantity? Yes.
Are they producing at the moment?
In lower quantity, yes.
Okay.
In lower quantity, they are.
So how? So as citizens first, how do you intend to boost, the production from the lower quantity?
Resources. You pump in
from
resources. Where do we get the resources in the country? From taxes, the revenue generated from the export of things. That's the money you can use to do that. In this country, we are on record of borrowing. Let's not run away from that fact. We borrow in this country. Even this government has borrowed. The borrowing that has been happening has been mainly for the capital projects, like schools, hospitals. They are important. Even when you are going to say, let's allow these investors to come in and let's say open a factory somewhere, they'll be looking at those things. How is the security?
Zambia for a long time was dependent on mining, and we've heard other political parties or people, successive governments, saying there's time has come to diversify from the mining into the agricultural sector. As Citizens First, you've also talked about the agricultural sector and the mining sector. What other sectors are you banking on that if we are to maximize on this sector, then we are able to turn around the economic status of the nation?
Now, The problem which we have in this country is we have a pot of money, okay, which we refer to as the budget. So that pot of money, automatically, when you see a government saying, let's make sure that we buy medicine in hospitals, it simply means the other sector will be affected. That's how it operates. It's a zero-sum game. The gain for another sector is a loss to another sector. That's how it has been operating. Meaning, we are constrained on one thing, the budget which we produce in this country per annum does not increase much. As such, you don't expect the GDP to grow to the fullest.
Which Zambians are not interested in?
No. You as a government, you need to know.
Of which Zambians are not interested in the GDP?
I didn't say Zambians are not interested. I said most Zambians, especially ordinary Zambians,
okay,
they are only interested. Because when you say which Zambians are not interested in, it simply means you are also referring to the technicians. Okay, the technocrats.
So you are talking about the GDP, which
now,
majority Zambians are not interested in the GDP.
A person who is living in Kanyama just wants to say, okay, how am I going to make money tomorrow? How am I going to eat tomorrow? I said it before, and I said that, one, in Zambia and almost in every country, there is no any person who is poor. None. The only problem that has been there is that there has been no any opportunity to those people to make money. We have not presented opportunities to people. Go to the person who is on the streets today. The person you ask him to say, I want 100 kwacha today, or give me 200. The person will tell you that I don't have. Then you say, you can find it. Then the person will be, where am I going to get it? Because there is no any opportunity for me to make money. So there has been no any opportunities for the Zambian people to make money. There has been no any opportunities. So we refer now to the people to say, no, those are marginalized, those are poor, those are what. Yet, we have not given them opportunities. One thing which you should never forget is a child for President HH and a child for the person who is living in Kanyama, they are going to face different challenges. Because the child to HH has been presented with an opportunity that the father is a president and the person can't struggle in terms of eating, in terms of quality education, quality healthy, and so on. It doesn't mean that the child whose father is from Kanyama is also going to experience the same thing which the child to HH is experiencing. It's a different ballgame. That person who is there hasn't been presented with any opportunity. The person who will grow, reach the age of saying, now I need to marry, have children, and those children are going to face the same demerits which the father had. So present opportunities to everyone. You want to make money, you are not poor. There is an industry there. If you want to make money, go there, go and work. You incorporate everyone, be it the educated, the semi-educated, and the most educated.
I'll go back to my question, Mr. Simukoko. Apart from the agriculture,
apart from the agricultural sector,
are there any other sectors that citizens
we need to improve?
And these are the sectors that I wanted you to.
The energy sector.
So how do you intend to improve the energy sector so that you turn around the economic turnaround under citizens' face? How are you going to use the energy sector to contribute to the economic of the nation?
Industrialization will require power or energy. It will require energy, of course. So in order for you to improve other sectors, automatically the energy sector also is supposed to be improved. You need to make sure that fuel is sold at a cheaper price. You need to make sure that there is improved or expanded power generation or electricity production.
Let's move step by step. Energy sector.
Yes.
Energy sector. Let's talk about fuel. You've said cheap. Yes. Zambia does not produce fuel. How are you going to make sure that the fuel that Zambians are going to be buying under Seasons First is cheap?
Now, in the country like Zambia, there are a lot of factors which you can be able to use. One of them was we had Indeni. It's non-operational now. In fact, it is now Indeni Energy. So the Indeni which was able to store the oil which we were using, it has not.
Using from where?
We were
used to store oil from where?
It used to store either from, it was passing through Tanzania, because there's the Tazama pipeline there. That's where it used to pass. Then later on, it was a refinery. So when you store fuel in tanks, it simply means you won't be required to review the fuel prices every month. They will go even for a quarter or so. So that was important because that is a strategic asset. because anything can happen around the world. A war can happen from where you are getting your fuel. A war can happen from where you are getting your crude oil. What are you going to do? Provided you are only saying, let's be sending tanks to go there and be bringing. It simply means movement will be restricted. What will happen to the Zambian economy? It will automatically shut down. When it shuts down, what do you think will happen to the Zambian people? Imagine yourself moving from your place, coming here on foot, because there is no fuel.
So, Assistant First, are you in other words saying you will bring back Indeni?
Yeah, automatically.
Are you aware that even in the previous administration, Indeni was not operating at maximum?
We were not there. We were not there.
So how are you going to make sure that Indeni is run in a different manner and maximize? Because you are talking about cheaper fuel here, yes. And are you saying just using Indeni
now in
to
this
store,
country,
then Zambians will be able to buy free, cheaper fuel?
No, that was in response to the monthly review price.
Oh, so you
now there are also subsidies.
No, my question was
there are also subsidies which can be able to be directed there.
So you are bringing back the subsidies on the energy sector as Citizens First?
We will. Okay. You need to subsidize the energy sector in order for the people to be buying cheaper meal. You need to subsidize the energy sector in order for people to be making sure that they are buying cooking oil.
But are you aware that subsidizing the energy sector, when the UPND came into power, they discovered that even the suppliers or people that were supplying us with oil were owed. And the government then was not even paid.
Irrespective of owing, the same government you are talking about went ahead and reduced the mineral royalty tax in the mining sector from 6% to 3%. And in general term, they are going to lose, or they are losing 2.15 billion kwacha. The budget is there. Intuitively, by the time this tax regime was brought back, because there was amendment of the Mines and Minerals Act of 2015.
Oh, you've left the energy, you've gone back to the mining.
No. I'm telling you, because you have asked me, don't respond yet. You have asked me that you are going to bring back the subsidies. Then in the
energy sector,
now, listen,
not in the mining.
No. The money which they have forfeited in the mining sector can be used to subsidize the energy sector.
My question, Mr. Simukoko, was very simple.
Yes.
The energy sector, especially fuel.
No. Listen. When dealing with the things to do with the economy,
you touch everywhere.
No. Yes, you need to do so automatically.
So even if the question is talking about energy sector, you have to bring in the money.
No, let's do this. You have said you are going to subsidize the energy sector.
No, that's what you said.
I said so, yes. I said so. Then you proceeded further. You said, in short, when you do so, where are you going to get the money from? Then I've told you that this government has refused to subsidize the energy sector, saying it is costly. Yet they have gone ahead and they are losing a revenue of 2.15 million kwacha. Billion kwacha. And at that moment, in dollar, it was at 160 million US dollars. It simply means that 160 million US dollars, provided they didn't change the Minerals Act, that could have remained the same, and the government could have had enough revenue. Because what you need to know is that the movement of money in the system, it doesn't look at which sector it's coming from. When you pay your tax, it doesn't matter whether you're working in the energy sector, in the health sector, or anywhere. The money will be collected to you, and it will be put in the Control 99, that the special unit at the Bank of Zambia. Thereafter, it will be disbursed in different ministries based on the needs. So when you say we are only looking at the energy sector, so the energy sector, they have said it is too costly to subsidize the energy sector. Yet they have gone ahead and say, let's now reduce the mineral royalty tax from 6% to 3%. Then you are saying it is too costly. Then is it now not cost because they are letting that cost to go away from the mining sector?
So apart from bringing back the subsidy in terms of fuel,
yes, and also making sure that we put more refineries. Because the only challenge which was...
So more refineries?
Yes.
Not just in Deni?
Not just in Deni.
Okay.
Not just in Deni. Because the problem which was there in Deni was just the hydrocarbon cracker. The hydrocarbon cracker which was supposed to be paid, or which was supposed to be fixed. So upon fixing simply means Deni could have continued operating. But the government saw it fit and said, let's just do away with it.
We need to engage some callers. Mr. Simukoko, you've talked about the energy sector. Yes. Is there any other sector that you can use?
So I've talked about the agriculture sector.
Yes,
I've talked about the energy sector, the mining,
yes,
and the other sectors which we can have. The health sector. The health sector, we have no medicines in hospitals. We have no medicines in hospitals. And human development has been a challenge.
When you say we don't have medicines in hospitals, what are you talking about?
Medicine. You go to the hospital, you are going to say I'm sick, they are just going to write a prescription for you and tell you that go and buy medicine.
Is this what is happening now, or you are just assuming that this is what is happening?
I was sick at some point in that should be within this year, early January. When I was sick, I went to Levi Mwanawasa. So because that was the nearest hospital near me, they said, no, here we only admit the referees or referrals. Then I went to Chelston clinic. When I went there, they just said, okay, what are you feeling, this and this, I explained. So they wrote, and then I said, what is next? They said, go and buy the medicine at the pharmacy. There's a pharmacy which is there. Meaning, of all the things, because I was supposed to buy about 6 different medicine. In short, all those 6 were not there. Meaning, provided I didn't have money then, and I only had money for only 4 medicine, it simply means I could have gone home and I could have just slept minus anything. That simply means that is the challenge which the Zambian people are going through. There is no medicine in hospitals, and that's a fact. That's a fact. When you say no, what do you mean? Is it previously or now? Go to any hospital today. Now, what we are having in this country, they are not necessarily hospitals. We are having consultancies. We just go there and say, okay, I'm sick, I have headache, I'm sick.
So these consultancies have started under the new dawn, or this is what we've had from the time that we got?
Citizens First has never been in power. So you asking me that this is when it has started, and you want me to begin referring to the past when we are not in government?
No, I'm not saying you said what we have at the moment.
Yeah, that's what we are focused on.
Okay.
We are being focused on at what is happening at the current situation. You can't tell me that then the current situation is that we have got to know this, we have got to know that.
Let's see, pick some calls. Hello, good evening. Hello? Good evening.
Good evening.
Tell us your name and where are you calling us from?
I'm calling you from Mumbwa. I'm senior headman Jombo Ndubula.
Headman in Ndubula. How is Mumbwa?
Mumbwa is fantastic, though the climate change has really hit us badly.
Let's hear your contribution, sir.
Yes, please. First of all, Simukoko, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you, sir. How are you?
Very energetic youth, eh? That's very good. Now, I've heard you talking about the challenges that we are going through now because of trying to take back the economy on track. Of course, Mr. Simukoko, I respect your views, which I haven't gotten a lot of positives of how you can turn around the economy of this country. First of all, as a villager, as a headman, senior headman, farmers' input support program is cleaner, and we're given, the farming inputs on time. It's just the climate change that has disturbed us. Secondly, families in my village, they are very happy with the free education. Every family now is taking their children to school. The health workers getting employed after a long time, it's a positive. Teachers getting employed, it is a positive. Across the board, security wings have employed deserving grade 12s, and other certificates into jobs. Now you can look at the CDF, skills, empowerment, entrepreneurship, capacity building, soft loans that have been given to small-scale farmers to build up production. These are positives, comrades. We are observing, as elder statesmen, we are observing. What we can say is that maybe when it's your turn, you supplement and add up on these good things that, the New Dawn government has done. I'm not in politics, but I work with the government of the day, not only to support it, but to observe where they go wrong. I'll comment that this is not right. But right now, the economy is back on track. It's moving slowly, but we'll be there. And then it's working, not on full capacity. There's some lubricants that we are receiving through Indeni. So when you say Indeni is closed totally, I get disturbed. Where do you get this information? Right now, we know that the Zambian scenario did not attract any investor in this country. But because the New Dawn has brought in certain policies, deliberate policies, to try and see and attract these people, we are seeing some movements on the copper belt. We are seeing a lot of things happening. So please, as a young man, you are building up yourself in politics. Please try to say the truth. Because right now you are misleading me, and I'm not being misled, but I'm saying out there are people who could be misled. Thank you very much. I'm not being, very brand
Thank you so much,
but I'm just trying to tell the truth.
There.
Thank you, Mr. Simukoko, for this time.
Giving me a sign that we have to go. Maybe you can respond to Headman Ndubola, Senior Headman Ndubola, rather, and give us your concluding remarks. He has talked about FISIP, that it is working very well. Farmers will receive farming inputs in time. It's only the climate change, free education. He's saying he's happy, and people in his village are very happy, sending their children free, to school. He has talked about employment, health workers in the education sector, the defense forces. That is.
No. I come from Isoka. I do respect the chiefs a lot. And when you look at the comments he has made regarding the free education, now, it's not necessary that you have free education. Let's be analyzing these things. What you were paying as school fees then, you are not paying at a school. Instead, you are paying through a bag of meal, which is now expensive. You are paying through cooking oil, which is expensive. You are paying through other commodities which have increased in price. Let's say, now, I think I've made that point clear. Let's go to the farming inputs. President Hakainde Hichilema promised the people of Zambia that per 50 kg bag, it will be sold at 250 kwacha. How much is fertilizer being sold today? And how many bags is a farmer receiving? The farmers are receiving less farming inputs. Let it not be about in time or not. When you look at the way the agriculture sector has been handled, the chief hasn't told us about the soybean. I'm talking about misplaced priorities here. The chief hasn't talked again about the exportation which happened for maize. And today we have got climate change. He had to say that. The maize which was exported or sold could have been used in crisis moments like this one. And we are saying that exportation of maize was a wrong move, because maize or mealie meal is expected to be expensive going forward. It will be expensive. What happens if they are, of course you are going to admit that in the next farming, in the production which is going to happen now, there will be less produced mealie meal or maize. The maize which will be produced by farmers will be in lower quantity. What will happen? There will be no bumper harvest, which simply means there will be shortage of maize in the country. You know that mealie meal, we process maize, then we get mealie meal at the end. So in that process, if there is less maize, automatically we're expected to have less what? Less mealie meal. And you do know that economically, just even a simple person can understand, the fewer the goods, the higher the demand, which will trigger the higher price.
Mr. Simukoko, we have to go. Thank you so much for making an appearance on this program brought to you by Citizens First, your political party, and wishing you all the best as you continue to mobilize.
Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure being here.
There you have it. We've come to the end of this interview brought to you by Citizens First, and we've been looking at the economic turnaround under Citizens First. My guest being Lazarous Simukoko, who is Deputy National Youth Mobilization Chairperson. I've been your host. My name is Dabola Kelvin Chifoko. Until next week, same time, same place. It's bye-bye for now.